News Report, Trump's latest speech, facts versus fiction. Tonight, we take a deep dive into President Donald Trump's latest statements on Russia, Ukraine, and his self-proclaimed legacy. While his speech was filled with bold claims, a closer look reveals distortions, manipulations, and outright falsehoods. 1. The easy deal fallacy. Trump said, "It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast."
And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast. Now, maybe
Trump has long claimed that resolving the Russia-Ukraine conflict would be a simple task, so simple, in fact, that he repeatedly promised in 2024 that he would end the war in just 24 hours after being re-elected. However, there's a major flaw: he never explained how. By reducing an extremely complex geopolitical crisis to a quick deal, Trump mirrors the rhetoric used by authoritarian leaders who present oversimplified solutions to gain public approval. Yet, his promise was never put to the test, not even during the period between his election campaign and potential inauguration, when diplomatic efforts could have been initiated. Experts warn that oversimplifying conflicts can be dangerous. It downplays the deep historical, political, and security factors at play. It creates false expectations that a conflict can be resolved without real negotiations. It echoes the tactics of authoritarian rulers, who claim they alone can fix major crises through unilateral deals. The reality? Ending the war requires complex diplomacy, not empty promises. Through the forced peace manipulation. Trump said, "If somebody doesn't want to make a deal, that person won't be around very long."
somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long.
That raises serious red flags. Trump suggests that if someone refuses a deal, they will not be around very long. While it might sound like tough talk, it dangerously implies that peace should be forced, regardless of the will of those involved. This approach has historical parallels in authoritarian regimes, where leaders impose peace deals by silencing opposition or forcing surrender. Why is this a dangerous manipulation? It implies that Ukraine may have no choice but to accept unfavorable terms. It ignores the reality that Ukraine, as a sovereign nation, must define its own security and future. It shifts blame onto those defending their country rather than the aggressor. Many fear that under Trump's vision, peace could mean surrender, rather than a just resolution. 3. The false narrative of Russia's gains under U.S. presidents. Trump said, under Bush, they got Georgia. Under Obama, they got Crimea. Under Trump, they got nothing.
Under President Bush, they got Georgia, right? Russia got Georgia. Under President Obama, they got a nice big submarine base, a nice big chunk of land where they have their submarines. You know that, right? Crimea. Under President Trump, they got nothing. And under President Biden, they tried to get the whole thing. They tried to get the whole big Ukraine, the whole thing. If I didn't get in here, they would have gotten the whole thing. So I can only say you can go back to Bush, you can go back to Obama, and go back to Biden. They took a lot.
This claim distorts historical reality. 2008, Bush administration, Russia invaded Georgia, but did not fully annex it. The U.S. imposed diplomatic consequences, though critics argue they were not strong enough. 2014, Obama administration, Russia annexed Crimea. However, its naval base in Sevastopol already existed for decades under a treaty with Ukraine. The U.S. led international sanctions in response. 2016 to 2020, Trump administration, Trump claims Russia got nothing, but this ignores his delays in military aid to Ukraine in 2019, weakening its defense. His soft stance on Putin, refusing to confront Russia over its aggressions. The biggest falsehood? That his presidency deterred Russia. In reality, U.S. policies under Trump signaled a lack of strong consequences, emboldening Russian geopolitical ambitions. 4. The Javelin and Sheets deception. Trump said, I gave Ukraine javelins, Obama gave them sheets.
The only one they didn't get, you know what I gave them? I gave them anti-tank missiles. That's what I gave them. I gave them sanctions on Russia. I gave them javelins. You know the javelins? You know when they took out all those tanks? You know the tanks were heading to Kiev by the hundreds, and they were unstoppable. And I gave them javelins. So, you know, I really, Putin is the one that will tell you this has not been so good for them.
Trump often presents himself as Ukraine's strongest supporter, a claim that does not hold up under scrutiny. While it is true that Trump authorized Javelin anti-tank missiles, his administration restricted Ukraine from using them near active combat zones, a significant limitation. Meanwhile, the Sheets remark about Obama distorts the truth. The Obama administration provided extensive non-lethal military aid, including radars, night vision equipment, body armor, and counter-artillery technology. The U.S. under Obama also led sanctions that directly weakened Russia's economy after Crimea's annexation. Trump's narrative erases the real impact of past U.S. policies while inflating his own role. 5. The blockade of Ukraine aid. Trump said, "I gave Russia nothing except grief."
The fact is that I just want fairness. I want fairness. But think of it. I gave Russia nothing except grief. I gave them nothing. I gave them sanctions and javelins. That's what I gave them.
One of Trump's most misleading statements. In reality, he actively worked to weaken Ukraine's support. In 2024, Trump pressured his loyalist senators to block military aid for nearly 6 months, preventing crucial assistance from reaching Ukraine at a critical time. Trump also repeatedly stated that Ukraine is Russia's sphere of influence and that the U.S. should not be involved. While he claims to have given Russia nothing but grief, his actions, including blocking sanctions and advocating for NATO withdrawal, directly benefited Moscow. Conclusion: what's the truth? Trump's speech is filled with historical distortions, oversimplifications, and manipulative rhetoric. He promised easy solutions, yet never delivered on them. He presents forced peace as the only option, ignoring Ukraine's sovereignty. He distorts history to erase his administration's failures. He falsely claims to be Ukraine's greatest ally while actively working against its military aid. The bottom line? Manipulation through false narratives is a powerful political tool. In a time of war, facts, not fiction, are more crucial than ever. Rocket, stay informed. Stay critical. This is DARO, your AI-powered watchdog on authoritarian misinformation.